Namaste, everyone. A very warm welcome to our webinar about liberalism in Ramayana. Today, we will hear about how kings sought public opinion, built consensus around major decisions, how events were planned meticulously to the last detail, how personal freedom was considered a benchmark of social well-being. We have with us today Shri Bhoga Pappu, who works as a vice president at NOS Infosystem USA. He's a Ramayana Tapasvi himself, who is working extensively on Valmiki Ramayana Sanskrit shlokas. So, with this, I will hand over the webinar to Bhoga Papuji. And thank you very much, sir, for taking your time and teaching us today about liberalism in Ramayana.
Yeah, thank you, Raviji, for that brief introduction. Like always, just to follow the traditions, because if we are studying Ramayana, that means we want to follow traditions. I'll go in the traditional mode of few prarthana shlokas and then jump to talk with my presentation. Vinayakanamastubhyam satatam modakapriya nirvighnam kuru no deva sarvakaryeshu sarvada Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane Kujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam. If some of you observed, in the Vinayakanamastabhyam Satatam Modakapriya Nirvighnam Kuru Me Deva, we normally say. I thought, hey, why only me means for me or mine? Why only my works nirvighnam? Nirvighnam kuru no deva, kuru naha. Naha is for all of us. So similarly, when I do my regular other Sanskritam classes, when we say Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini, Vidyarambam Karishyami, we say. Vidyarambam Karishyamaha, I put. Saying, no, why not for everybody? Let us all do that Vidyarambam. So, okay, with that brief prayer, I welcome you all to this brief webinar. You know, I also, they had a sequence there, Nirvighnam Kuruno, so Vinayaka Prarthana first. Then, of course, the deity or the main hero upon whom we want to study being Rama, a shloka on Sri Rama, especially then on Valmiki, because they say, you know, there are some good and bad articles also, right? Some critics, leftist, they wrote 300 Ramayanas. Somebody said, hey, there are so many Ramayanas. Which one do you take as a reference, pramanam, etc.? But all said and done, everybody knows the first and foremost work and the contemporary work, Sampratam Loke, that same time, is of Valmiki. And fortunately, unlike any other rendition of Ramayanam, where it is primarily bhakti, more of devotion, more of glorification, and you are an unreachable thing, and these are not to be followed, you can only bless me. From that mindset of typical, I feel, Western Christian influenced mindset of, oh, you are God, we are sinners, that mindset of bhakti. Unlike that, Valmiki's Ramayanam is more like a record of contemporary facts. And if we study it from that point of view, Ramayanam presents Valmiki. When we say Ramayanam, it is Valmiki Ramayanam. Every other one has a different name, like Sri Ramacharita Ramayana Kalpavraksham, or Kadam Kamba Ramayanam. But if we say Ramayanam, it is by default Valmiki Ramayanam. Just one small footnote I want to mention there. So there you will find lot of lessons to learn. There are engineering lessons in the same Ayodhya Kanda. Maybe if we get some other time, I will walk you through how highways are laid, how cities are built, and rest areas, shopping malls in the exit areas of those highways that Bharata built in going towards Chitrakutam to bring Rama back in a big galore. Right? So you will study engineering principles there, road transportation, civil engineering, professions, 14 professions are listed in that sarga. Right? Similarly, you will find the political the lessons, which is what probably we will focus today mostly on. But then there are also some beautiful, simple practices. Just today, my weekly class of Ramayana, we did 115th Sarga today, where Bharata declares after dropping his mothers back from Chitrakuta to Ayodhya, he declares that no, I cannot stay in Ayodhya, I'm going to Nandigrama. So he goes again, but this time Anahutam, it says, the army and all others were not ordered by Bharata, unlike before when he took them to Chitrakutam. They all come to him. So there, Prang Mukham Yayo, you will hear this multiple times. There are some simple principles that we should, as fans of Ramayana, as fans of our Dharma, as fans of our Hindu culture, we should probably follow. Some simple things that keep repeating over and over. Or anytime there is Sandhya Kalam, Sandhyamupasya, he says, whether it is Rama, Vishwamitra, Bharata, anybody, Bharadwaja, they will say if it is time, they will go that evening or that early morning, they finish their Sandhya Upasana and come back. Similarly, we too, at that time, wherever we are, whatever we are doing, probably we should take a small break and offer our prayers or whatever is our practice of spending some time with the divine. Similarly, Pradakshanam Krutva. This is a beautiful keep repeating practice. They do Pradakshanam to their parents when they are leaving along with Vishwamitra. They do Pradakshanam to parents when he is leaving for Vanavasa also. They do Pradakshanam to gurus such as Bharadwaj Maharshi, etc. when they take leave from them. And they do Pradakshanam even to the Ratham. Rama does Pradakshanam to the Ratha when he leaves it. Because anything that is serving you, you offer reverence to it. A Pradakshanam. Pradakshanam Kratva. And I have seen this in practice, and I especially then when I went back to study, I realized it. I saw this in practice by Brahmashri Dorbala Prabhakar Sharma Mahodaya. When he came, he stayed for 1 week in my home. Before boarding the car and after getting off from the car, he would do a Pradakshanam and then sit in the car. When he gets off of the car, he will do a Pradakshanam to that car and then come back into home. I've seen him doing, then I realized, oh yes, Rama, I only read Rama doing it and others doing it in Ramayanam, but here I see this Rishi in front of me for 7 days. Every time I took him for a lecture, for our Baitak, for our Melanam with our Karyakartas, he, before sitting in the car, after getting off from the car, he did it. So such simple practices of doing Pradakshanam to whomever we revere, our parents, our Guru, Deva Mandiram, car. So since then, even I do that. I go around the car before boarding it. And after parking it in our garage, I just go around it. Practice, why not? I can gladly say, yes, being different, we say, right? Being different is great fashion now. So why not be different than what people do? They all get off from the car, just go away. Hey, let's make one Pradakshanam and then go. Some simple things like that. Similarly, Prang Mukham, always heading in the east direction when we start. Sometimes when my mother insists, in those days, I used to think, why do you insist? But why not? If great people did it, why not we to do? Such simple things. So there are some cultural practices, lessons, such simple things which are in the current slightly given as messages by Valmiki repeatedly. So those things are there. And then emotions. We can even do one beautiful, another lecture some other time, where Sai Mahodaya and I also agree that Ramayanam gives the punch dialogues, which even after millions of years, if we believe in those numbers of years, or even tens of thousands of years of the latest carbon dated, history, punch dialogues which are used even today in our movies. If there are a punch dialogue of an emotion, of a challenge, of, go over my chest if you want to. The dialogues like that, right? The source uh, is from Ramayana. So there are multiple facets of tidbits to learn, or even big lessons to learn from Ramayana. Having said that, I think we will now jump into the actual slides that I made. I couldn't beautify them. Some of them are raw slides. Some of them I tried to, what do you say? Tried to beautify them with Google Gemini. Sorry, did somebody say something? Okay.
All of you kindly stay on mute so that there is no disturbance. After the session is over, he shall give time for discussion.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I will do for about 40 minutes now, or 35 to 40 minutes, and then I will open it up for session question and answers. You all can feel free to ask me questions. Is this slide visible?
Yes, Ji.
Uttam. Okay. So with that, as I said, there are so many subjects like that to study from Ramayana, but the one that we are picking up today is what we often think. If we talk to youngsters, they think democracy is what is there only today or recently started by Greeks in Athens, they think. But then we want to not challenge, but we want to make them aware that, hey, the best possible ruling principles of both collegium, as we say today, like for example, even in India, we have both MLAs and MPs. MPs are the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. That's what I mean. The popularly elected ones and the collegium, as we say, even in America, we call it collegium. A president, even though is popularly elected by people in terms of votes, collegium, which has from each state, those representatives, they come and then they select the president, even though people have selected it. So similarly, in our Ramayanam times, see Ramayanam time when we say is of Rama is probably a descendant of like 50th, 60th generation at least, right? 30 to 50 generations are listed twice at least, once in Balakanda and one much later in Ayodhya Kanda by Vasishta himself to Rama. So that means for so many generations, these principles were followed, which Rama emphasizes to not deviate from them. So which means this whole democracy and all has been there in our genes, in our DNA, of consulting elders, of consulting multiple layers, multiple tiers of leadership and working with them. Right? So that is the definition of primarily what I am calling as a democracy. Though democracy, when we think, is going to a local booth and stamping or pressing a button there. That alone is not democracy. The way democracy was formed even by Greeks in Athens, as we study as history, is also that representatives come together, representatives of people, and they together, under the leadership of whoever is the head of them, in consultation, they make the decisions and law and pass the bill, etc. How is that so beautifully done in Ramayana in multiple places? But we'll start primarily at the Rama's Abhishekam, the proposal of Rama's Abhishekam. That is where let us start. Kojantam Rama Rameti Madhuram. So, Hitam Manoharam Vakyam Bravanti Nrupate Sada. Always the king is surrounded by the ministers and his advisors, because you will hear several terms. You will hear sometimes Amatyaha, Mantrinaha, Sachivaha, and then of course Dvijaha, Vipraha. these are various qualifiers of intellectuals who are advisors, who are secretaries, who are ministers, who are staff of the king. In their consultation, or with their consultation, king always makes decisions. And these people are always talking in the welfare for the king, for the state, and for the king. So we start. So I'll, before this again, before we jump into this, I'll just give you a brief, another great point. Any literature, if we study in the world, even latest textbooks, if we read, not textbooks, I mean novels or any books, if we read, and if we ask somebody to compile all possible adjectives, all possible descriptions used to qualify a protagonist or a hero or a heroine from a book, how many can we get from any book? Even if we take, let's say, a romantic book of today in English, or a Harry Potter kind of a book, or a Lord of the Rings kind of a book, how many adjectives can we get of in describing a hero or in describing a heroine? It will be hardly, even if you go through the entire text and try to compile them, you will hardly get a few, 20, 30 at the most, I'm thinking. Beyond that, they do not have the concept of building words, building compound words as adjectives, as descriptions, as narrations. But our very Ramayanam starts in Narada, in Valmiki, asking for 16 qualities, which all of us know, right? Konvasmin sampratam loke gunavan, viryavan, dharmajnah, kritajnah, satyavakyah, dridhavratah, charitrena cha yuktah, sarvabhuteshu hitah, vidvan samarthah, priyadarshanaha, atmavan, jitakrodha. Then there is a bigger, longer sentence. Kasya bibhyati devascha jataroshasya samyuge. If at all he becomes furious, all gods also shiver, tremble. Is there any such person? Sampratam loke. That's the fact of evidence for us, that it is not a fiction work. It is sampratam loke, a contemporary record of history, but a poetic record of that history. He asked for 16 qualities, and Narada, like always, says, hey, good question, a tough question. That's how we answer it. If as soon as somebody asks, that's a very tough question, we say. Same way, Narada also responds back by saying, Bhavo durlabhaschaiva ye tvaya kirtita gunaha. Hey, these are very, very tough and rare to find gunas, qualities that you have asked for, Valmiki. But Buddha, by my recollection and by my memory, I know one person, Ramo Nama Janaihi Shrutaha. He is heard popularly by people as called as Rama, by the name of Rama. That means he has several more names, Ananta Nama, Sahasranama, but he is popularly called as Rama. And he responds with about, you can either count as 64 or 68, based on how you split one or two samasas there. 68 gunas he responds back with. 68 and 16 is about 84? 84 to 88 gunas are listed. Then, of course, then again, several more gunas will come as you go later. But so this is the first sarga of Balakanda. Similarly, the first sarga of Ayodhya Kanda starts where in the last sarga of Balakanda, where it ends, is when all of them are married. They are returning back to Ayodhya from Mithila, and then Parashurama appears and says, hey man, what they said, you have broken the Shiva Dhanus, you think that is great? I'm challenging you, because he is still in that mission of assessing Kshatriyas, and if he thinks they are not the right ones, getting rid of them. So in that mood, he challenges Rama, and Rama successfully passes his test of holding the Vishnu Dhanas and launching it. And then he retires from his avatar mission. So they all return back home and they are all happy. That's where that kanda ends. Then in the first sarga, now Dasharatha is thinking, okay, he's seeing everyone happy. He sees that Rama is the most capable one. And he says, after 60,000 years of about 60,000 years of living, and he says with the Shweta Chhatra Bhara of the emperorship, of the ruling with all the dharma, constantly working for the state, for the country, not only for his own kingdom. He went in support for fighting for Indra multiple times. So with all of that, he feels very tired now. And now that he, especially since he thinks Rama is so capable, Rama is so beloved, he wants to propose Rama as his into Yuvaraja Abhishekam so that he can retire and hand off the reins to Rama. Normally, if we think if it was monarchy, he could have just called for a big announcement next day and just announced it and handed over. If it was a baton like you see with Greeks or Romans, he would have given that Rajadanda to Rama and say, hey Rama, you are the king now. But see how he organizes it. But before we do that, before he wants to propose whatever, he contemplates another 100 gunas. It can be again about 98 or 100 in the first sarga of Ayodhya Kanda. Then I thought, oh my God, already 88 plus gunas were done in the Balakanda first sarga. Another 100 gunas in the Ayodhya Kanda first sarga. One is, as I said, the poetic beauty and the language's beauty. That can you ever think of qualifying somebody, narrating somebody, describing somebody with so many gunas? But that apart, the difference is in the Balakanda, they are all gunas of an individual Rama. Here, Dasharatha is contemplating how to present Rama as the successor heir, as a king, as a prince. So he looks at all the leadership gunas, all the kingly leadership Nayaka gunas of Rama. So that's the beauty there. So then, having thought about it, he then consults his ministers and Rishi, his what do you call them? The cabinet, and takes their approval as the first step. So then, after taking their proposal, which happened in the previous several shlokas of the first sarga, we continue from here. Nana nagara vastavyan pruthak janapadan api samaninaya medinyaha pradhanan pruthivipatin. He has sent invitations to Nana nagara vastavyan, several city residents, nagara vastavyan. Prithak Janapadan api, not just from his city and the urban area citizens, popular citizens, but he also sent out invitations to Janapadan, to towns, to rural village areas, their representatives, what we call as pramukhs, or today sarpanchas, let us say. Those sarpanchas are also Prithak Janapadan api, Samaninaya, means he sent messengers to bring them. Anayanam. Aninaya is the niche there. Medinyaha pradhanan pruthivipatin, and the kings of all various kingdoms of the Medini, the whole earth. That means he called for all state leaders. State as in countries, but politically it is called state, all state representatives. So leaders of countries, of all countries, and within his own kingdom, representatives from urban areas, from rural areas, all of them were invited. He sent out his minister, his messengers as in public, in private, in person invitations, not just by mail, but he sent them in person to go to those places and invite them. Then there is in brackets I have put there, for some reason Valmiki quotes it there. Natu kekaya rajanam janakam va naradhipaha. However, somehow he thought Kekaya Raja, who is his actually Sambandhi, Kekaya's Kaikeyi's father, or even to Janaka, who is his Sambandhi. who is the father of all the four daughters-in-law. To him, to these two people, somehow he didn't quite send any invitation. Tvaraya, because probably he was in this haste of thinking from the political formalities, political rules, from that point of view, in that hurry and in that focus, because these two seemed like his family kings. I mean, they were kings, of course, but probably he saw them as his family people, so he didn't quite think about sending those formal invitations to them. And he probably then thought, Paschat tau sroshyatah priyam. Anyway, they will later get to know the good news. So he quite didn't worry about sending the invitation there. Some of the terms here, important term. Tatah parishadam sarvam amantriya. Parishad. Visva Hindu Parishad, for example, we hear, or some other Parishad, right? Parishad is an assembly, is a Vedic word for us. Tatah parishadam sarvam amantriya vasudhadhipaha. Dasharatha was a Vasudha Adhipa. He was, and for us, another important thing to note is the way political boundaries are today, the way we call somebody as an influencer is different from the way those days it was. He might be ruling only a boundary of a small Koshala Desha, but he's a Vasudhadipa in the point of view of influence that he can exert on the world. And as I said, if Indra can call him, Dasharathaji, please come and help us on in this war that we are waging, that means that shows his prowess, that shows his influence. Similarly, for example, America is a country by itself, is living in one, protected Pacific Ocean, but they rule their influence. They influence the whole world. The world has to listen to what they say, good or bad. That is a different topic. But that is the concept of our Vasudhadhipa. So Vasudhadhipa, hitam uddharshanam chaivam uvacha prathitam vachaha. He then called for all the state leaders have come. They are assembled in a big, huge, and you will read how they have organized that whole assembly by building tents, by arranging chairs that too in orders of VIP, other level, etc. So in various tiers of invitees, they seat them, and then he is addressing all of them. What is he saying? Viditam bhavatam etat yatha me rajyamuttamam purvakair mama rajendraihi sutavat paripalitam. Viditam, all of you anyway know. Bhavatam etat yatha me purvakaihi mama rajendraihi sutavat paripalitam uttamam rajyam. You already know how my ancestors have ruled this state or this country like child. They have ruled you like children. Right? Sutavat paripalitam uttamam rajyam. Soham ikshvakubehi sarvaihi narendraihi paripalitam shreyasa yoktu kamosmi sukharham akilam jagat. Such one that I have inherited, I also want to continue and pass it on into safe hands. We have an all-state insurance here in the US, and they say you are in good hands, and their logo is two hands like this. And similarly, he's saying, Shreyasa yoktu kamosmi, sarvaham akhilam jagat. This whole world, I want to ensure that is put in the right hands. Mayapi acharitam purvaihi panthanam manugachata. Even I have continued the same tradition of how my ancestors have tried to put nation first, people first, dharma first approach. Even I have tried to follow the same. Praja nityam anidrena yatha shaktihi abhirakshitaha. He's saying, anidrena, without sleeping. That means, and we see even today, right, our leader, our head of the state, 20 hours, 24 hours, we don't know when he sleeps, when sometimes for months he doesn't even eat. No, not months, a month long he doesn't eat during Dashara time and all. So, anidrena yathashaktihi, to the best abilities possible, prajaha abhirakshitaha. People have been, protected, secured, ruled well, their welfare taken thoroughly by me. In performing those duties, idam shariram kritsnasya lokasya charata hitam pandurasya atapatrasya chayayam maya jaritam. Pandurasya atapatra is the umbrella, in the white umbrella, Shweta Chatram we say, right? In that umbrella of emperorship, of that responsibility, conscious responsibility of ruling the state, anidrena, without tiresome, without any rest, maya jaritam, this body is now decayed, is not, I'm tired now, if we have to say in today's English. प्राप्य वर्ष सहस्राणि बहून्यायुंषि जीवतः जीर्णस्यास्य शरीरस्य विश्रांतिम अभिरोचये. Having such spent my body for thousands of years in ruling tough manner this way, I seek some rest now. Vishrantim abhirochaye. I seek some rest. I want some retirement now. And further toward that, what am I doing? Rajya prabhava jushtam hi durvaham ajitendriyaihi parishramtosmi lokasya gurveen dharma dhuram vahan. And I was saying, dharma dhuram, dhurandhar. We all know that popular movie night, right? Dhuram dharati, dhurandharaha. So dharma dhuram vahan gurveen, that too gurveen, the heavy dharma dhuram vahan lokasya parishramtosmi. I'm very tired by bearing this responsibility. Political responsibility is not easy. Any action you do, there are opponents to talk about. You do anything, they only want to talk ill of us. So by bearing all of that, I'm really tired. Anujato himam sarvaihi gunaihi jeshto mama atmajaha. Oh, so before that, soham vishramam ichchami putram krutva prajahite. Such me, I want to now take rest by replacing or by placing my son in this responsibility. Putram krutva prajahite, again, in the welfare of people, not for his enjoyment. Prajahite putram krutva sannikrishta sannikrishtan iman sarvan anumanya dvijarshabhan. I shall do that, or I'm doing it by consulting sarvan iman dvijarshabhan sannikrishtan anumanya, by respecting, by honoring all these great twice-born scholars, advisors, gurus. By consulting all of them, I am proposing to place my son in this responsibility of the welfare of the people. And by the way, I have thought about it. Anujato hi mam sarvaihi gunaihi jeshto mamatmajaha. I'm not just like that picking anybody. Mam anujataha. He is born just like me. Anu is follow, jataha. He is born by following my own qualities. If you all had trust in me for so long, continue, you can, happily, blindly continue the trust in my son also, because he's exactly like me. Anujataha. Mam sarvaihi gunaihi. In all the qualities. Who is that fellow? Mama jeshtaha atmajaha. My elder born son. And how is he? Purandara samo virye Rama parapuranjayaha. He is like, in all his valor qualities, he is like Purandaraha. And parapuranjayaha. He can win any other world, any other, kingdom also. Tam chandramiva pushyena yuktam dharmabhrutam varam yavarajye niyoktasmi pritaha purushapungavam. Such great son of mine, I would like to do the abhishekam, yavarajya abhishekam for him. Going forward, he will be my successor. Is how he starts saying that, and then he will continue in the next three shlokas, praising a lot more qualities, again some more gunas of Rama to the people. Now, if we think here he is like announcing, but he's not actually announcing. If you then go to the 15th shloka, after three shlokas, he's saying, Yadidam me anurupartham maya sadhu sumantritam bhavanto me anumanyantam katham va karavanyaham. He could have just said, hey, Rama is my successor. Thank you for coming here. Please have your lunch. There is good drinks and food there. Have it, enjoy, and continue to, work, work collaboratively with my son. He could have just announced it. But he's asking, Yed idam me anurupartham maya sadhu sumantritam bhavantah me anumanyantam. May all of you please, may please give your approval or give your acknowledgement, give your second opinion. Anumanyantam katham va karavanyaham. How shall I do this? Why? Because yadyapi esha mama pritihi. Even though this seems to be, or this may seem to be my wish, mama pritihi, mama pritihi hitam anyat vichintyatam. Even though it is my wish, my personal desire, of course it is natural that I want my son to be my successor, but I have invited all of you. I respect all of you. You are all respective heads of your own states, your own nations, your own cities and villages. So, anyat hitam vichintyatam. You please think if there is any other alternative. I'm not declaring it. I'm proposing here my wish. It may seem my personal wish, but I'm requesting all of you to consult among yourselves, think, and come with, see if there is any other alternative. Maybe there is somebody else better. I do not know, maybe. Maybe I'm blinded by my personal bias of my eldest son. I want you to think. Anyat hitam vichintyatam. Why? Because he's saying, Anya madhyastha chinta hi vimardabhyadhika udaya. Because there should be a common ground. Madhyastha chinta. This is my personal wish. If you guys think there's a better guy, then bring that proposal and let us come to a common ground of what can be the best possible solution. So this is the most important line of that democracy. A Chakravarti, an influencer of the whole world, is seeking public opinion of all the heads of the states in saying, please see if there is an alternative. Maybe I'm biased here. And he says then, Tasya, so they then go back and all, right? Tasya dharmardha vidusho bhavam ajnaya sarvashaha brahmanaha janamukhyascha paura janapadai saha sametya mantrayitva tu samatagata buddhayaha uchuscha manasa jnatva vruddham dasharatham nrupam. So if in the next few slokas, they all went, they did their respective meetings in groups and all. And tasya dharmardha vidushaha, of that Dasharatha, who is Vidush, of his dharma artha vidushaha, bhavam ajnaya sarvashaha. By understanding the intent of Dasharatha in seeking their second opinion of an alternative proposal, an alternative to Rama, Brahmanaha janamukhyascha, all the scholars there, and the representative heads of various communities, Paura Janapadaihi Saha, along with the citizens of urban areas and rural areas, Sametya, having come together, Mantrayitva, by discussing among themselves, consulting, isn't it right? Hey, don't you think this fellow is better? Don't you think America's king might be a better one? No, I think China king might be better. Like there's all these representatives, by doing all their mantranam, Mantrayitva tu samatagata buddhayaha. Beautiful adjective there. All of their minds were in samata. Samanam, samata. They were all same-minded, like-minded. Samata gata buddhayaha. Gata, that means they might have had initially some differences. They might have initially thought, oh, why not I become the king? Or why not my son probably become the next one, or whatever. But they ended up gataha, samata gata buddhaya, uchuscha manasa. Then finally, after all of them having come to a common opinion, common conclusion, they all came and manasa Vruddham Dasharatham Nrupam Uchuhu. They all have finally responded back to the question that Dasharatha asked in consultation. What did they say? Aneka Varsha Sahasro Vruddhastvamasi Parthiva Sa Ramam Yuvarajanam Abhishinchasva Parthivam. That's it. One liner they said. Yeah, we all have realized you have worked so hard for so long. You have become old now. You are tired. Ramam Yuvarajanam Abhishinchasva. Make Rama Yuvaraja Abhishekam Parthivam. Make him the king. That's it. Simple. And this is how Ichamaho hi Mahabahum. Ichamaha. We all wish, we all love, we all wish the same. Mahabahum Raghuviram Mahabalam Gajena Mahatayantam Ramam Chatra Vratananam. We all want to, desire to see that Rama to be Mahabahu, that Rama who is Mahabahu, who is Raghuvira, who is Mahabala, such Ramam we want to see Gajena Mahata Gajena Ayantam. We want him to be coming on top of that big Gaja, the biggest elephant, Airavata, kind of an elephant. Chatravratananam. We want to see his face covered by that umbrella on top of him, like a Chakravarti coming. Chatravratananam. Iti tadvachanam shrutva raja tesham manah priyam ajananniva jigyasuhu idam vachanam abravit. Another beautiful. So see that it is his, as I said, in the very first statement he would have said, Yoktasmi, he said, I could have declared Rama as my heir. But he asked them to go consult for, come back with any other alternative. Even when they came back with an alternative, he's still asking. What is he asking? Iti tad vachanam shrutva. By listening to this statement of all the representatives when they came back, tesham manah priyam, of their beloved mind, having heard it, ajanan iva, as if he doesn't know, like very innocently, ajanan iva jigyasuhu, with a inquisitive that curiosity, idam vachanam abravit. He then said this as if he doesn't know, meaning as if he wants to know. He doesn't know, and so he wants to know. Ajanan jigyasuhu. Want to know is jigyasuhu. Ajanan is not knowing. What did he say? Shrutvaiva vachanam yanme raghavam patimicchata rajanaha samshayoham me kimidam bruta tatvataha. I have a doubt. Samshayaha me. I have a doubt that Shrutva eva vachanam yat me Raghavam Patimicchata. By listening to my statement or my proposal, I think you have sort of obliged to approve Rama as the successor. Right? Patimicchata. Mama vachanam shrutva eva. Rajanaha, O kings, some may samshayaha ayam. I have this doubt. Kim idam bruta tatvataha. Please tell me with what intent? What was your reasoning? Why did you guys come back in proposing Rama? Why? Because katham nu mayi dharmena prithivim anushasati bhavanto drashtumichanti yuvarajam mamatmajam. Knowing very well that I have been the most capable king ruling contemporarily living now, how do you find mama atmajam yuvarajam drashtumichanti? How do you see him to be the Yuvaraja? I really want to know what was your reasoning in coming back with your proposal, with your approval of my proposal. I really want to understand the reasoning. I don't want to, because I don't want to have a feeling that you have obliged me, that you have, in a fear or in a lack of insecurity or just to please me, you have accepted it. No, I don't want that. I really want that all of you honestly, sincerely approve Rama's, Yavaraja. So then, Tetamuchu Mahatmanam Paurajala Padai Saha Bahavo Nrupakalyan Gunaha Putrasya Santite. And from there, 26 to 37th shloka, then again they start listing yet another 48 gunas. Okay, then all the leadership gunas. Some of them I highlighted, a couple of the most important ones, which show us how relevant Ramayana is and the whole democracy that I'm talking about is. For example, a few of the qualities. What did they say? Bahavo nrupa, O king, bahavo kalyanaha gunaha te putrasya santi. There are a lot of grand qualities of your son, by the way. And then they list so many. And then one example here is Sangramat punaragamya kunjarena rathena va pauran swajanavan nityam kushalam paripritchati. The shloka before this is where they say, whenever we sought any help from Rama, saying, for example, oh, these guys are trying to trouble us, he would go and fight against them and come back. And they say, Rama Lakshmanena saha jitva eva punaragamishyati. They would say in the previous shlokas. I didn't quote all of them because I know then it will run into hours and hours. So they were saying that anytime we sought help, Rama will go and not return back without completing the mission. And after coming back also is the most important line here. Sangramat punaragamya, from the war, after coming back, kunjarena rathenava, whether coming back on the elephant or on the chariot, pauran svajanavat nityam kushalam paripritchati. He comes back and seeks the feedback again. Guys, are you happy? Do you think I have completed what you asked me? Did I understand and fulfill your request as you have asked me to? Kushalam pariprichati. Are you guys happy now? No more trouble, right, from those guys? Whether it is guys or whether it is lions or whether it is tigers and elephants, whatever help that people ask, he would go fulfill that, come back and seek their benefit. And not once. Swajanam nityam kushalam pariprichati. He would go again and again and check. By the way, last year you guys have asked me for something. I think we solved it. Are you guys still happy? Are you continuing to be happy? No issues, right? Is water still coming? Is electricity still there? So like that, he would come back and check with people. That is the leadership quality. And so we love Rama, is how they propose back. Putreshu, Agnishu, Dareshu, Preshya, Sishya, Ganeshu cha Nikhilena Anupurvyacha Pita Putran Ivaurasan. And how does he consult us when he comes back? Guys, is it all happening okay? Where is my seat? Where is my fee? No, not like that. Pita Aurasan Putran. Aurasa is chest. One who is born out of the chest or one whom you hug on your chest is called Aurasa. A beloved, most beloved child, son for a father, he will hug him and so he is Auras. Aurasan Putran Pita Eva, like a father who hugs his children with all the love. Similarly, Rama would come and he will always consult us. Putreshu, Agnishu, Dareshu, Preshya, Sishya, Ganeshu cha. Not just people in our children or in our wives or in our Agnikaryas, in our Sishyas, in our students and in our schools and universities, in our offices. In all these places, he will go and check the status like a father would ask his beloved son, Aina, have you had your food? Are you sleeping well? Just as a father would with all love ask, like my father even now, like he gets worried if I work late. Even now, he shouts, even though he used to work 28 days a month away in tour, but now he cannot stand if I work late in the night, or if I miss the dinner and I say, no, let me finish this call and then I'll come down and have dinner. No, he will be worried. So that is Pita Putra Aurasan Putran Iva. Like that, Rama would come and consult us, is what they are reporting. Tavevam gunasampannam Ramam Satyaparakkramam Lokapalopamam Natham Akamayata Medini. And they are saying, such Rama, the whole world is asking, Dasharatha, Akamayata, they love to see Rama as the king. Vatsa Shreyasi Jataste. Your son is born, you know what? He is born for our welfare. For our sake he is born. Shreyasi jataha te dishtyacha asautava raghava. Oh, Dasharatha Raghava, your son is born fortunately, man. He is not ordinarily born. He is born for our shreyas and for your fortune. Dishtya putra gunair yukto maricha iva kashyapaha. Just as Kashyapa is born for Maricha, so also your son is born for you. Balam arogyam ayushcha Ramasya viditatmana devasura manushyeshu sagandharveshu rageshu cha ashamsante janas sarvo rashtre puravare tatha. All clans of people, they all are always seeking that the balam vardhatam, arogyam vardhatam, ayushcha vardhatam, viditatmanaha, of this most knowledgeable, best man of Rama, the whole world, all of us, who all, Deva, Asura, Manusheshu, Sagandharveshu, Urageshu, all of them, Ashamsante, Janas Sarvo, Rashtre Puravare Tatha. In this nation and in all other cities also, all of them are seeking welfare, health, life, and strength of Rama. And so, go ahead, Dasharatha, is what they are saying. Abhyantarascha bahyascha paurajanapado janaha striyah vruddhaha tarunyascha sayam pratas samahitaha sarvan devan namasyanti ramasyarthe yashasvinaha. In the morning, in the evening, women, old, elderly people, young people, all of them in cities, in towns, in villages, they are continuously namasyanti. Bhagavan Devan, Sarvan Devan Namasyanti, Ramasyarthe Yashasvinaha. Of the Ramas, for the sake of Rama, for the welfare of Rama, all the people are seeking always, and so please go ahead and so. Pashyamo Yavarajyastam Hitaya. So like that, the Rama's Rajya Abhishekam is accepted by the world, and the acceptance is sought by the emperor like Dasharatha. Right? That is the beautiful. If we all know this, we would be, I think, just as I am delighted, I'm sure all of you also must be delighted. Wow, is it true? An emperor seeking people's, approval like this, never seen before. Or, hey, this is much better than the democracy that we know. And that too for so long. And so, for example, then later we know all the turns that happens, and then he leaves. When he leaves, then onwards, Piturvachana Nirdeshat Vanavasam Gamishyami. A rule is made by the king, that's it. Then it is a law, and I will follow the law. No more son, father, these relationships don't come into picture. Law is law. Once a bill is signed saying Rama is to go to forest, that's it. That's a law now. The law has to be abided. Law-abiding citizen. And another important one here is dharma above emotion. In this 21st Sarga, if you go, when after all of this happens, then they come back, Rama, Lakshmana come back, and Kausalya is informed and she is worried, Lakshmana is like furious. He's saying, Bharatasyatha, I'm slightly jumping all of these. Bharatasyatha paksho va yovasya hitamichati sarvanetan madhishyami mrudurhi paribhuyate. That's the dialogue delivery. He say, Mruduhi paribhuyate. Do they think we are just because soft guys? Do you think we are can be taken for granted? I'll kill all of them, whether Bharata or anyone on his side. Bharatasya atha pakshova asya yovasya hitamichati. Whether whoever is on Bharata's side seeking his support or seeking his success, I shall kill all of them, he says. Such me, and then harami virya dukkham tam, all of that he says. Etad vachanam shrutva lakshmanasya mahatmanaha uvacha ramam kausalya rudanti shokalalasa. Now for next few slokas, Kausalya talks. She then says, she very, because the topic, the way he has put also, Raviji has presented it as liberalism. And the liberalism that we know is today, everybody is liberal, right? So Kausalya, how liberal she is. She is now telling Rama, you have heard Lakshmana, right? You can do whatever you think is right now. By the way, the right is to Sushrusham me, she says. You have to be here, stay here, and do my service. Listen to me and do my service. So Sushrusha is actually listening, wanting to listen. But wanting to listen means essentially listen and act on it, which is service. That's how it becomes service. But Sushrusha is essentially listen to me. And what is to listen? She quotes several examples. How Kashyapa did spend all his life serving his mother at home and attained Devaloka. And then she quotes several of them, and she also says, Yatha pituhu te manyaha tatha ahamapi, she says. Just as your father is to be respected, mother is also to be respected, she says. And so I am telling you, you have to stay back. And so many shlokas go between 19th and 28th. And then Rama again comes back to say, Vilapantim tatha dinam kausalyam jananim tataha uvacha ramo dharmatma vachanam dharma samhitam. What did he say? Dharma vakyam, he responded back to her saying, Nasti shaktihi piturvakyam samakramitum mama. Prasadaye tvam shirasa gantumichhamyaham vanam. I don't have the capacity to violate the father's instruction. And tvam prasadaye, I am requesting, I am pleasing you. Please, Amma, don't send me, don't let me go with harsh feeling or sorrow feeling. Prasadaye tvam shirasa gantum ichhamyaham vanam. I want to go to the forest as given by Rama. Another great thing to learn from there is the way he takes opportunity out of the situation. Later in Ayodhya Kanda, when Bharata comes back and they have lot of discussions between Bharata and Rama, Jabali and Rama, other Paurajanapada Pratinidhayaha and Rama, then finally Vasishta and Rama also. Every time he says, actual literal instruction in the first few sargas, where Kaikeyi informs on behalf of Dasharatha, all she says is, Navapanchacha Varshani, 9 and 5 years, which is 14 years, you have to go to forest, and Bharata is to be put into Yavarajya. But Rama takes an opportunity out of it and reframes it as saying that father gave you urban cities and gave me the forest department to rule. And he quotes this even to Vali later, saying, hey, I am a Kshatriya. I am given by my father, by the king, to rule the forests. And any injustice in the forest, I will bring it to justice, he will quote. Whether it is to Vali or to all other Rakshasas later also. So anyway, we know Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. We all think some sadhu would have said it. But actually, it is Maricha, the Rakshasa, who says it to Ravana, saying, hey, don't go. He's Vigrahavan Dharma. If you attempt anything on him, it will only hurt you, it will burn you, it will char you, it will destroy you. He says, in spite of that, he will say, oh, okay, you want to get killed by him or by me? Then he will go and do that. And then there is this beautiful line also. Praja sukhe sukham rajnyaha prajanamcha hite hitam. The dharma followed by all those rajarshis is Praja sukhe rajnyaha sukham. The king's happiness lies in the happiness of his people. Prajanamcha hite hitam. It is not just happiness. Hitam is important. Their welfare is important. Towards that welfare, sometimes if you have to put some restrictions also against happiness, it's okay. We mistook Praja Sukhe Sukham Rajnyaha and we open all the liquor shops everywhere. That is not it. Is Prajanamcha Hite Hitam. We should also think of their welfare. Hey, is this liquor going to keep them well? Is it going to keep them healthy? No. Then let's ban it. That is important. Prajanamcha Hite Hitam. That is to be learnt by us, not the first half alone. Just as Ahimsa Paramo Dharmaha, we take only the first half and forget the second half. So that is also important. And then, of course, we all know that, in fact, we will, I have maybe in another session we'll take it as already 3 minutes later than where I wanted to stop. There is a lot more such qualities of, not qualities, instances of his spies collecting public information, public opinion, and reporting daily in the night. So in the, what is that called? Security briefing. Security briefing happens in the nights, and that happens every day. So they collect information and all of that. And one last point, and I'll stop here, is the so-called refugee asylum that we talk about today, that especially America is known for offering refugee asylum to communist affected countries and religious tormented, affected countries, people. We say, oh, we offer it. But hey, this was offered by Rama millions of years ago. Sakrudeva prapannaya tavasmi iti cha yachate abhayam sarva bhutebhyo dadamyetad vratam mama. He says, this is my vratam, that from all beings I shall, or for, it can be bhutebhya, you can use either chaturthi or panchami. If it is chaturthi, he is saying, for all beings I shall give abhayam. If it is Panchami, then he is saying, from all beings, I shall give you abhayam. Only all you have to do is just once, tava asmi iticha yachate sakrideva, once, abhayam sarvabhutebhyo dadamyatad vratam mama. This he says in the context of when Vibhishana comes, and these guys were having, Rama is having his meeting for the preparation of the war on the other side of the shore, with Sugriva, Valmiki, Angada, and all. And when Vibhishana is coming, they all shout, hey, that fellow is coming. Oh, let's kill him, and all of that. At that time, he says, no, no, no. He hears all of them. He'll ask each one of them, Hanuman, Sugriva, everyone give their opinion about Vibhishana's arrival. And then he finally gives his opinion of saying, hey, if he seeks if he offers surrender to me, I shall give him protection from everyone, is how he concludes it. So I'll stop here. It's 5 minutes over. I have to rush also. But any one or two quick questions I can take. Was it any useful to you all? Did you learn anything new? Was it is it useful?
Certainly an amazing lecture, Mohoday, because you gave us a taste of Rama Rajya. So you can actually imagine how great was the Rama Rajya. If a person with such characteristic ruled, certainly we can understand that the importance of the Rama Rajya and how wonderful of course, the takeaway is the Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. Because ruling, I think anybody can do, but ruling with Dharma, dharma baddham, following those basic ethics of governance. That is the most important point. So now we can
Right.
see that all over the world, whatever kind of crisis that we are today facing is also because of the lack of the dharma. So that is something which Rama stood for. And he just not tell, but he followed it and showed it, was a living example for that.
Yes.
So that is a great takeaway, certainly, and very relevant for today's situations. So we are really amazing to understand the kind of situations he went through. And as you mentioned, he even had the right, because already Dasharatha has declared him as the next Yuvaraja for the Pattabhisheka. So he's legally entitled to be the king. So he could have taken over his father also, like how Lakshmana gives him ideas, let's jail father, let's like put him aside,
Yes.
you can take over. So
Yeah.
he gives him all those kinds of suggestions also. But he stood
Yes.
for that dharma. He told what is Pitruvakya and what is. It's easy to go for a war, or or just punish those who don't obey. We can see how it's
Yeah.
happening all over the world. Somebody wants
Yeah.
to just show their power over the others, that I am, and he deserved, he had that right, and still he did not utilize it. So he knew what
Correct.
is the consequence if he had done that. So what example he would set for the generations to come, and for why we respect him as Rama. So that
Correct.
Rama Rajya is the basic grounding where it stood for that dharma. That's amazing. And I think certainly I can see you exceeded. There is no doubt you could exceed that time limit, because it's not possible to stop
Mm.
speaking about this topic. So it would be really wonderful to have a follow up lecture on this to have a good feel of it. So I'm
Yes.
really very,
If you all
very
like it,
happy.
we can definitely have some more.
Yes, yes, some more thoughts. So I'm sure all of them present here would have felt the same way. Um, yes, yes. We also wish there some comments in the this thing, how we must. I can see some good comments like how it should be taken up for the politicians today and all that. Yeah,
Correct. Correct.
certainly. Yes. So,
Yeah. See, even though we say Yatha Raja Tatha Praja, I think for Arpit ji, he's asked how to integrate it all in current policy making. I mean, how to operationalize all this dharmic knowledge. We say Yatha Raja Tatha Praja, that while that is true, today, Yatha Praja Tatha Raja. As people are, so they select their leaders. Because today's democracy is where people blindly, whoever vote, you select such a person. If we don't vote, if all of us don't vote, and then we are not selecting the right leader. So that means people should become good. And that is where, for example, several organizations, including RSS in India, for example, or HSS here, for which I also volunteer, we believe in Vyakti Nirman, in building citizens based on these dharmic principles. And Mainahi tu, Naham Vayam, in that, or Bhavantaha, in that mindset, if we train people right from their childhood, then such people will naturally elect a good leader. And so there will be good governance and all of this will come into the place. So there are multiple actions that are required. And we don't have to invent anything. There are already organizations doing so many. There are dharmic organizations who teach all of this, but they don't know how to keep it into practice. They teach it, very good, theory is there, so follow there. Then we have RSS kind of organizations which show it in practice, doing selfless service, standing up for dharma. Even if I lose, even if I'm in pain, like Rama went, we will also go in pain, but we will win to, in the end, Satyameva Jayate. So keeping these two in both learning dharma from the organizations or from gurus, from acharyas, from texts, authentic texts and authentic sources, and then coming together, standing together for each other regularly through any means such as a shakha or any other such means, so that we all can stand for each other and execute dharma. I think together it will happen. It is already happening. We are seeing it. There is a long way to go. This is a beginning, but we are in the right path.
Avashyam. Ramarajyam bhavedeva. Kadachit
Bhavedev.
kadachana. Avashyam bhavet.
Astu. Bhavantas
So we all
sarve.
wish the same. Yes, yes. Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you, Mahoday. Thank you so much for the wonderful thought.
ధన్యవాదాలు.
And the
Shubhratri
point
to
you
you
made,
all. I have to rush now.
change, yes, yes, sure. And the point that you made, that change has to come from within the people to
Yes.
understand that and to elect the proper leadership. So that is very, very important. Thank
Yes,
you. Thank you
yes.
so much.
Yes,
And I
Arpit ji,
also,
we will try to contact you. He's asking for recommendation for an hour. So maybe we can collect a feedback form kind of a thing, Google form or something,
sure,
and
sure.
see if they want more, what are the other topics that they like if they want. Otherwise, you can also propose Mahadev or anything. We
Yes,
can see what
Raviji
else.
will coordinate and get back with these people. Thank you so
Shubham.
much, everybody, for all those who have joined. I think even Bhogaji has to rush now. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madhu. Dhanyawad.